The Battle of the Sunshine State, number 8, Full Sail University, or excuse me, number 8, Florida State University, Garnet, going up against the number 24, Full Sail Armada. Again, in the showdown of the Sunshine State. Folks, it is week 2, day 2 of CCL Season 3. My name is McCormill. Alongside me is Proper Casts, the best man bun in Call of Duty. And we are here for match number 2 on the Alpha stream today. Folks, if you are just joining us here, match number 1 of the day was OSU Scarlet versus WVUPSC Esports. And OSU Scarlet was able to take them down in a 3-0 victory. And on the Bravo stream, we are in the middle of the control, and the side of USNA Gold is up 2-0. But Prop, as we get ready for this match here on the Alpha stream, it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a great one. These two teams looking for supremacy in Division A for the Coastal Division.
Yeah, just like you were saying there, I mean, you're talking about the number 8th overall comparatively to the 24th of Full Sail Armada. Again, this is off the top 25 week 2 power ranking you can find on the College COD Twitter. So make sure that you're always trying to keep an eye out for that to see if your school is within the top 25. And yeah, I mean, battle for the Sunshine State, and also just a battle overall just for rankings and amongst their peers. Let's just put it that way, as a poll that gets put together. But you know, when it's all said here for Full Sail Armada, they are currently sitting at 1-1. They're lost to the E4 Knights, the University of Central Florida. I mean, it was relatively close. It was a 250 to 193 hard point. They got smacked in the search and destroy 6-0. That's what it looks like here for the stats that we do have on the website. So make sure you're showing some love to those guys as well. And then a close garrison control 3-2. I think that, again, watching this Florida State earlier in the season during the kickoff tournament, and even in week number 1, is that they have a lot to offer for us. They're very flexible. Their SMG lineup is absolutely something you could write home about, and they can create a lot of ruckus before you can even get set up.
Yeah, they placed top 4 in that kickoff tournament that we saw just a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, that kickoff tournament allowed us to get a really good gauge into a lot of the teams that we'll be seeing over the course of this season specifically. But again, in that kickoff tournament, not every single team was playing. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we have to kind of lead into is the fact that there are still a lot of teams, especially those 2 Ottawa teams that are at the top of our power rankings for week number 1, that are going to start making themselves known in the community. Not that they already aren't known inside of the CCL community, but, you know, a lot of the teams, there was about, 50, 60 teams that didn't play within that kickoff tournament. So a lot of teams with a lot of potential looking to come out and show out here in Season 3. But, folks, for the rest of the night here on the Alpha stream, match number 3 of the day. Time, and well, you'll have the 2 casters previous, Cam, Burt, and Morgan, taking you back on through that. But talking about the match at hand here, we're going to go over the map set that we have for map number 1. It's going to be Raid for the hard point. Map number 2, it's going to be Raid for our search and destroy. Garrison for map number 3, Crossroads for number 4, and Moscow for number 5 if we do get there. And Proper, for map number 1, we've talked about this so many times for the hard point on Raid and the type of ways that you can play this map. What's going to be the most important thing to kind of lead off here for at least point number 1 and 2?
Of rotations is just knowing your position on the map as well. And they do play hand in hand for Raid Hardpoint. Again, this could be a very swing map mode combo, depending on who's heating up early and who's just really good at towards the tail end of the Hardpoint map itself. But you really got to be aware of your position on the map, because the middle of the map just damn near means about everything. This is probably the smallest map next to Crossroads Strike. Crossroads Strike, of course, being the smallest map in the competitive rotation. But Raid's no slouch. I mean, through the middle of the map, you can find a lot of success, and just knowing your position so that way you don't, say, hit P2 too early, while there's also a flank that's coming through the pool side to open up your once was close spawns for P3 that can then spiral out of control for the team that then ends up finding themselves quite gifted in those areas because they can find such an early lead, and that can domino effect all the way towards the end.
Yeah, well, taking a look at our 2 teams here for the side of Florida State University, Garnet, you've got Daniel Domsky with the captain role, followed by GK, Japo, Rosen, and Equal, rounding out that 4-man roster. Looking at players in terms of their KD on the side of that Florida State Garnet roster, you're looking for Rosen with a hardpoint KD of a 2.77 through week number 1 here in CCL Season 3. Look for him to have an opportunity to kind of pop off and lead the way for the side of Florida State University in map number 1 on this Raid hardpoint. And of course, for the side of Full Sail Armada, you're looking at a roster that contains a previous pace from last season in the CCL and Sneaky, but the captain and Prizam, Frequency and Voidy will go ahead and round out that roster. And likewise for the side of Florida State University, with Rosen being that dominant slayer inside of the hard point that we're going to be looking for. On the side of Full Sail Armada, we're going to be looking towards Prizam with a 2.63 KD in order to go ahead and potentially step up that role and potentially be that stone that the side of Full Sail Armada might need to get behind. So as the lobby goes ahead and finds itself getting a little bit more filled as each and every moment passes, Proper, what are you thinking, maybe prediction-wise, for this series going into this? I know it's quite early in the season. We haven't seen as much of these teams as maybe we'd like to in order to make I guess, an educated prediction. But just in terms of everything that we've seen thus far, what would you kind of be guessing here potentially for the eventual series win and series lead after map number 1?
I really can't lean towards any one way. I mean, Full Sail Armada is a team having returning members from last season, had a pretty good run of things. I mean, Sneaky and Prizam didn't have a bad regular season at all through Modern Warfare and did all right throughout the entirety of the playoffs. And Florida State University, again, new kids on the block coming in towards the CCL regular season here in this Coastal Division match. I mean, this is what's going to be interesting to see how they do pair up versus this Full Sail Armada team. Again, coming off of their pretty good finish for the kickoff tournament, Florida State University, and then also sitting here 2-0. I'm sure that the vibe's got to be strong. I'm sure that they're feeling pretty good about themselves. And it just comes down to whether or not you're okay with sitting up with the rest of the pace that is the rest of this map set. Because like you said, I mean, we are starting off with double dose of raid that has the I guess the concoctions for SMGs to absolutely fly throughout the map and really dictate the pace for ARs to get themselves in positions. And the same could be said about that garrison control. So it's really tough to swing either one way, but at least we'll be able to get some answers, and I might be able to give you more definitive closure as we get into a couple maps.
Well, if I can tell you, there's one thing that Call of Duty players, spectators, and casters love. It's fast-paced, high-octane Call of Duty, and that's exactly what we're going to be getting on Raid here for map number 1, of course. We talked about points number 1 and 2 in those oh-so-important rotations, but back and forth, the spawns will flip throughout the entirety of this first Raid map, and once we do get into that second search and destroy, we can talk a little bit more about some of those strategical advantages on the map for the offensive and defensive side of things. But talking about Raid a little bit more for this hardpoint map, we talked about a little bit of how that AR advantage is going to be there for both of these two teams and how they need to get control of that early on inside of the game. But a lot of times, a lot of teams don't like to talk about, that water push over towards that pool side and how important it can be over towards either the basketball court or making a break for those P2 spawns. A lot of the times, you'll see a lot of teams rotate around towards laundry to try and break through the spawns. But do you think we'll see a lot of teams maybe try to opt to take that pool lane a little bit if they do get that bottom bedroom spawn to try and either break maybe over towards garage or that P2 to 4 hardpoints?
I think when it comes down to it, when you are looking from 4 to 5 to new, you definitely want to hold on to the west side of the map regardless. So, I mean, even if you don't spawn in over by bedroom, that should be your main focal point ahead of 4 to 5. I mean, even if you don't end up getting the initial time 4-5, those spawns could end up quite literally spiraling in your favor. But we'll have to see if either of those two teams are going to be upping the ante for that exact play. McCorn Mills, we are underway. Raid hardpoint between FSU Garnet versus Full Sail Armada.
Well, FSU, they're going to start off hot there. They've got 3 players down for the side of Full Sail Armada. Now a push back through middle map and over towards the laundry side will be commencing. However, it will be Exile finding one there onto Sneaky. And the last player alive for the side of Full Sail Armada, players number 6 and 7, both looking for an opportunity to push through. But one thing you'll notice here, Exile getting very aggressive over towards the top laundry side. A quick 5-0 start from Exile as they're going to be looking over for the kitchen spawns. And, well, that push there might have well just done it, and that exactly is what will happen. Well, FSU Garnet proper. That was a very quick rotation across the map and a huge lead to kind of boost themselves right off the rip.
It absolutely was. I mean, Exile here with the Krig 6. Typically, you'll see a lot of XM4s with the AK-47 being GA'd and the versatility that you have with the XM4. But Exile starting off hot with a 5 spree, and the Krig 6, nevertheless, is a great weapon to open things up, especially when you're in that 50-50 engagement over the spiral. But in towards P2 we go. Like you were talking about, quick hit for FSU Garnet will find themselves here. What's the setup looking like? Got players looking at the front door, but the 2 players are hitting from the jungle side. FSU Garnet are going to be able to read this. Equal finds 2, and FSU Garnet are going to be able to hold for now.
Well, fortunately for player number 6 and Frequency over towards the back, try to get the spawns for his teammates, but they are going to spawn over towards P1, so FSU Garnet can go ahead and hold on for at least 20 seconds of time, and as another 3 players go down, it is going to be Void, the last one alive for the side of Full Sail Armada, looking to push from the middle map, waiting wisely for the teammates to go ahead and maybe find the reinforcements here towards this point, and instead of going around for the spawns this time, knowing that they've only got about 25 seconds left on this point, they'll try to charge through the front doors, but once again, it's FSU Garnet who are there to stop the push. push, a combined 9 streak for the entire team, and now as the side of Full Sail Armada spawns completely behind FSU Garnet at point number 2. FSU Garnet have the rotations over to point number 3. They got basically 45 seconds on that point scot-free, looking to do the same thing over towards point number 3 in the garage.
Also, Armada have a collective 9 kills between 4 of their players, 2 of which don't have any kills towards their name. I'm sure their EKIA list, when they do pull up that menu, looks a little different, but they're sneaky with a full kill themselves. Not going to be looking towards the P3 area, but line them up. Go ahead and just knock them down. Yeah, FSU Garnet. I mean, this is why I was talking about know your position to where you are on the map. Full Sail Armada, they try to hit P2. Yes, they do end up winning up the gunfight, but their positioning then ends up flipping out the spawns, giving FSU Garnet just such an ease access in towards P3, and now they have themselves a blistering lead as they are just not done yet. Rosin's on a 4 spree. It will be put to rest. But Exile, that was their second life, by the way, 11-2.
Yeah, well, started out the map on a 5 streak, continue to pick up where you left off on a 6 streak, only climbing even further. So now that begs the question, will it be a 7 streak the next time he goes ahead and finds himself the spawn up? But everybody from the side of FSU Garnet positive by a considerable margin. Full Sail Armada 1-10 from one player, 2-8 there from Sneaky, and unfortunately, you know, it does come down to winning those engagements when you are making those push plays. So if you're not able to win those opening picks, find yourselves those entry frags. It's going to be very difficult to win so any sort of map presence, and when you've got Exile beaming into the window and almost over towards the basketball court staircase, it's going to be very difficult. But a glimmer of hope here for Full Sail Armada is they do have the break over towards the spawn side for P4. They've got 2 players inside, now another one to go ahead and try to find the slack. But as FSU Garnet start to push through the front door, a team kill won't matter. They've got the contention, they've got the kills, and now it's all about pushing Full Sail Armada back up the staircase and spawning out all the way across the map.
Spawning in relatively close here are both of these teams, so you can send a lot of reinforcements down the jungle side. Are you going to be able to find these angles for the kills? Breezy, not so good, but the Semtex is going to be better to take out Exile. Very scrappy amongst the scrap time here for P4. Again, you're not just fighting for the scrap time here. You're also fighting for the P2 spawns ahead of the new set of hills and the easier rotation with a nice little peek that you have outside of kitchen for P5, while your SMGs, much like here for frequency, are ready to watch these angles.
Well, you got to be ready for the push here from the side of Florida State University Garnet roster. And as Exile is over towards that P1 area, they're all going to be waiting for their teammates to push up the map. And as a couple players do go down, Sneaky will find 2. So an opportunity maybe for the side of Full Sail Armada to catch a little bit of fire here on point number 5. And folks, it is important to note out that this game is not over by a long shot. It was about a 70 to 80 point lead on the basketball court. They were able to bring that back down to a much more manageable margin. And now over towards point 5 as they go ahead and try to find these last couple of kills onto the players. It is going to be Grog Moth playing the life here, but Frequency will find the kill, find the slack. However, it is going to be FSU Garnet who do find the hill time here as they have another 4 players go down. Full Sail Armada, what looked good for them there on that initial break, turns a little bit sour, turns a little bit dry. FSU Garnet back on top.
Yeah, and again, this is what makes Raid Hardpoint just so swing dependent. Because Full Sail Armada, they were in a great spot to hold those P2 spawns. They were looking at those easy rotations from 4 into 5 when you saw a decent amount of their time ahead of the second set of hills really come through. And now they're still in the battle to be able to keep these spawns in their name. You still have Void back here. And even off screen, as Moth on screen finds 2 kills. And Full Sail Armada, they're still going to have the closer spawns for new. In FSU Garnet, yes, holding the lead are set up here now, but for Full Sail Armada, they're going to have a good spot to be able to hit these positions where they can find the gunfights, but you would really love to have a player pushing through the middle of the map.
And I love that you pointed out those rotations over towards the next point, because for Full Sail Armada, that is going to be the biggest thing that they have to worry about, but more importantly, they've got to get a little bit of time in towards P1, and if you're on the side of FSU Garnet here, you're saying, okay, well, we'll take this as much time as humanly possible here. We'll go ahead and get the lion's share of time on this point, because even if we don't go ahead and get those rotations, we've shown the time and time again we can go ahead and break through Full Sail Armada's front. So maybe half mast here for the side of Full Sail Armada. Hopefully they can turn it up to full for the remainder of the game. However, FSU Garnet has looked so good thus far. Again, though, you pointed out to those rotations, they're in them. Can they go ahead and hold on for at least 40 to 50 seconds to bring themselves a little bit more into this game?
Yeah, but again, this was all given the fact that they were going to be able to at least contest P1 while trying to get about maybe 10, 20 seconds themselves. And now, even if you get 50 here, it's going to be a 20-point game, and FSU Garnet can just set up for P3 to where they can just not only put themselves just about 10 seconds away from closing out the game, they just have to get one break for Full Sail Armada setup. And speaking of those setups, first 20 seconds are going to be good for Full Sail Armada here inside of the kitchen hill. They're keeping FSU Garnet at bay through the middle of the map and by the jungle side as well.
Great job thus far. Contest will come in, though. It's going to be a triple push. It is going to be Commander Grog, Moth, Equal all pushing in. Exile is there, but Sneaky looking for the technical trades onto the teammates there, as now he's going to push back in towards the point. Gives away his position once again, but as the teammates are there in the back, they are going to find that final trade there onto Equal. So, as we talked about before, Full Sail Armada do get the majority of the time here. They get themselves about 40 to 50 seconds of time, even though FSU Garnet did contest for a little bit. But as Proper did point out beforehand, FSU Garnet does have the rotation over towards the garage. Look at the suffocating hold they have on middle map as well, as you see players number 1, 2, and 4 all pushing up, at least to the halfway mark, not letting Full Sail Armada get any sort of map presence whatsoever towards this point. They're not even going to be able to contest here if they get these initial kills for at least 10 to 15 seconds.
Your saving grace here for Full Sail Armada is that FSU Garnet cannot close it out here. So now you just have to keep the hill contested, but you got to be able to find the kills to make your way present inside of the garage hill. And just so far, really just not so good in FSU Garnet. They just continuously find the kills. Full Sail Armada keep on trying to trickle on in, and they will all fall. Greg Moth almost finding a snap on towards one player over by the driveway. So Full Sail Armada, yes, you might be looking at a scrap time break coming through, but even then, FSU Garnet, they're on the rotation for P4.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, too, watching this out of Full Sail Armada continue to push these hills, because you have this interesting dichotomy to where some of these pushes are great, and they've sent 2 players in and been able to win 2-on-1 gunfights, especially what we saw when they were able to hold down the basketball court for pretty much the majority of the time. But then there's been times where they send one after another in to where they're just able to get picked off instantaneously by FSU Garnet, who are holding those incredible power positions with the AR. And I love that you pointed out the AR presence at the very beginning of this, especially with the Krig players on the side of FSU Garnet, because those have been the difference makers for the side of that roster, especially as we see Exile at 27 make it 28 and 14, 28 and 15, and now with the break coming through, it's got to be an early contest. They won't be able to do so. Florida State University Garnet takes map number 1, 250 to 137.
Yeah, and this was a 2-2 setup, keep in mind, you, for Florida State. You had the Crick 6 on Exile. You'll see it in their hands for this best play of the map. You also have the XM4 in play as well for Equal, and then you have the 274U. So very standard setup, but it was the pace formula. It was the way that they actually went and played it throughout the entire of the map. It almost felt like it was either just 4 XM4s, 3 SMGs, or just not with the Krig 6. Very comfortable with that weapon as Exile. And when you are finding yourself in those engagements and you're not beating out a Krig 6 and you're holding a 74U in hand, it becomes very frustrating. And I can only imagine when you are trying to look for these rotations, you might get a little lost along the way. So that way you can either try to really focus on where you are positioned on the map, because through a handful of times and even through the first set of hills, I mean, Full Sail Armada really had no rhyme or reason to really try to contest at that point when they had P3 ahead of them with those close responses. You just got to play through the middle of the map and try to find a couple of exit kills, because Florida State, I mean, you might as well give them a podium, because they were really just setting up the pace throughout the entire symphony that is that great hardpoint.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic map number 1 there. And to your point, using that Krig up close and personal is no easy feat. You have to be extremely comfortable with that weapon, as you alluded to beforehand. So going into this next map on the Search and Destroy, it is going to be Raid once again. And of course, after we saw Florida State University Garnet able to really just dominate the side of the Full Sail Armada through that first map, S&D comes a little bit more, I guess you could say, natural to the side of a lot of these rosters that aren't maybe as keen to playing in those hard points and of course those controls and your respawns. And really what that comes down to is how much practice that you have on those specific game modes. So if for the side of Full Sail Armada, not have been well versed or practiced inside of Hardpoint. Again, this is a newer roster that was not here in the CCL last season, so it is kind of going to be some of those growing pains initially early on, learning the maps, learning how to play with each other, the chemistry that you're going to be getting within those respawn game modes. And again, that kind of can come from the Search and Destroy as well, and it can go from Hardpoint to Search and Destroy too. So both of the game modes are intertwined in the way that you have to communicate and play with one another. The answer in the question then becomes, okay, how do we do that, and how do we take that from game mode and bring it to one another? Or if we don't have it in one game mode, how can we start to put that and incorporate that and infuse that into our other game mode that we might not be so good at?
Now, I don't know what Full Sail Armada, I don't know what their opening match tonight looked like as far as Search and Destroy. I did not get a chance to watch. But the last time they were here, as far as the website is concerned, was Raid Search and Destroy, and that was versus the E4 Knights, a 3-0 loss that Full Sail Armada did suffer in the first week of regular season play of Split 1. That's University of Central Florida that handed them that swift 6-0 on Raid Search and Destroy. So you almost have to think that you're going to be feeling a little bit more comfortable ahead of the second week of matchups versus Florida State University. If you are coming here for Full Sail Armada, maybe you went back, you studied the FOB. Maybe you really just kept a key focus as to what you can do here on raid. But I mean, for Florida State University, I mean, their numbers do not shy away just from how good that they are throughout the entirety of this. So the one saving grace here is that it was a 6-5. What was that versus Kennesaw State University, I believe, back in week one for Florida State University. So, I mean, they're not without a couple of dents inside their armor, I can only imagine. But, I mean, it's big regain time here for Full Sail Armada to be able to win these gunfights, be able to find themselves in an advantageous position to be able to plant that bomb and even up this map count one.
Folks, if you're joining us, Florida State University Garnet up 1-0 in the series over against the 24-ranked Full Sail Armada. Florida State coming into this ranked number 8 inside of the CCL power rankings for week number 1, and that's kind of how the ranking system will go throughout the course of the season. So if you do see any numbers next to the names of these teams, it is a power ranking for where these teams are lined up against one another. So this is going to be a Coastal Division A matchup. Raid, Search and Destroy, loading up now as we get ready to kick off match number 2 here for game number 2 on the Alpha stream. Folks, after this, it is going to be one more match here on the Alpha stream, and there also is more matches going on the Bravo stream as well, but it is heating up here on the Alpha stream as Full Sail Armada look to go ahead, tie the series up 1-1 against a very, very dominant Florida State University roster. Proper, as we kick off here inside of the Search and Destroy, it is going to be the A site that a lot of teams have preferred over the B site, but it's all going to come down to if teams are going to play that a little bit harder or if they are going to try and switch it up and play a little bit of mind games with their opponent.
Shout for Exiles Krieg 6 if they pull it out, man.
You can't really say anything else.
Scary, scary weapon. Is a dangerous man on this map, it may seem, but I mean, you got a lot going for yourself here. Again, if you are Full Sail Armada, it didn't look too bad. Few of those hills trades were there. They know how to play for each other's lives, as we have a little bit of a host problem. So we'll come back here just for a little bit more speculation between Full Sail Armada versus Florida State. And I mean, if there's one thing that you also have to be weary of if it comes down to Full Sail, it's just how well in tandem Florida State do really look comfortable playing throughout the map as well. And to also go back to one of your previous points, McCoy, I mean, you talked about for Search and Destroy versus Hardpoint being collegiate athletes. I mean, they are students first and competitors second. So it's a real nice testament to be able to see how do they spend their time? How do they spend their free time when they're playing Call of Duty? Is it Search and Destroy challenges? Or are they just playing pubs? Or are they just feeling comfortable flying throughout the map? Or do they actually have a brain with inside of that college skull of theirs to be able to make these plays, to make the adaptations, to be able to read their opponents? That's what I always like to see out of these collegiate players.
Yeah, well, they might be college kids, but they're also COD kids at the end of the day. And I think over the course of the year proper, we
here at B for Full Sail Armada means that they actually have a pretty good spread of things. Shots are going to be thrown over towards Void as well, so they know a player's going to come through jungle, and I think just they saw the ankle Frost and just slowly move their way through Art, but are they going to read the hits coming through from the driveway? Equal does find Breezy. That opens up this site, and 2v2 for a retake. They're going to be good for both of them, so Equal. AR lineup coming back through again. Really seems to be FSU Garnet's real stronghold of things coming off of the raid hardpoint.
Yeah, it's just a good round there. Once again, we saw before, well, at least for the attempted round number 1 of the Search and Destroy beforehand, where I was a player of Exile who played just towards the back, waiting for the rest of his team, or rather the opponent, to push up and either take the rotation over towards A, or just have the retake of the side that you pointed out beforehand. So, as Florida State University will take round number 1, it is going to be behind Equal's 3-0 start. That is going to give them a nice little boost here. Continuing that, and round number 2 is going to be at the essence in the forefront for Florida State University. However, getting everybody involved in the party is not ever a bad sign. It is going to be an A push, though, here from the side of Florida State University. A little bit of an opponent throw-off, potentially, here, Proper?
Very hard to take to the site without smokes and snipers, but FSU Garnet, they're going to feel the opportunity to be able to do so. Only player here defensively is Breezy, but they're not feeling just so good quite yet to be able to take this challenge. Semtex is going to come through. Flak Jacket plus the range is going to keep them alive for the time being.
Trophy system kill. Not the way the first blood usually should come through, but in this case, It's a good start for the side of Full Sail Armada as an inanimate object goes ahead and finds a kill there onto a player inside of the lobby. Now Sneaky going to be able to find that last kill. Wow, defusal coming through here. Full Sail Armada take themselves a nice little round here, round number 2. Both teams winning their respective defensives so far here inside of the Search and Destroy.
Yeah, and this was overall just very brilliant from Full Sail Armada. Breezy actually lived all the way through the entirety of that round number 2. And keep in mind, they were also the only player here defensively. They stay alive, they wait for the reinforcements to come on through, and so many Search and Destroy teams through every epsilon all the way up to the Pro League just really struggle with this one fact. Do you play for the retake, or do you try to stop it before they plant the bomb? Breezy recognizes there's no way I'm stopping this, given that we got players up in bedroom and underneath more than likely. Just waits for the reinforcements to come on through. Kills soon to follow. We have ourselves a tie game into round number 3.
ARs, SMGs, doing well for both of these teams, boating their own separate ways. Stuns over the top. Trophy systems down for both of the teams respectively. Equals with some shots over the middle map, but it is going to be Void who gets taken down first. Find Rosen's kill, but Sneaky retaliates with a 2-piece of his own, so FSU Garnet now with an opportunity to maybe find themselves a retake, but Full Sail Armada once again another round where they look pretty stellar here in terms of the advantage, in terms of the life count, so bomb down, not able to be picked up. Yeah, actually Sneaky has the bomb, looking to go ahead and put it down over towards B. However, now equalizing things at a 2 versus 2, Full Sail Armada on their back foot, on the back burner, looking for both of the players from FSU Garnet. They've not been able to see either one of them thus far.
Paul's got the XM4 looking. Sneaky at range, gets challenged. 90 HP, can actually take this gunfight, but Breezy doesn't push all the way through. This might just be a little bit of a mishap because now they got both players for FSU Garnet doubled up inside of Kitchen. And it's Full Sail Armada again. Time going against him. He gotta make a play here, Breezy.
Fortunate timing there as he turns around. FSU Garnet peeks out the Kitchen at just the right time. We'll take another defense. So thus far, the trend has been only defenses winning this game thus far. First Bloods have been relatively important throughout the entirety of this game. However, that round, it won't matter. The First Bloods there from Sneaky aren't going to be able to have any sort of way in the retaliation side of things. And as it is going to be FSU Garnet up 2-1 here in the Search and Destroy. Now, are they going to be able to go over towards this A side again? Or are they going to opt to go back over towards B? They went to A once this round, or rather the last offensive round proper. If you're a betting man here, and they do go over towards A, is Full Sail Armada going to be able to read this one and maybe send their attention over towards A before it's too late, before they get the bomb, they get the bomb down?
Well, their stack and presence of mind for Full Sail really seems to be focused over towards B in the middle of the map. Again, Breezy is typically the solo defender here. We'll read this. It's over by the Tiki bar. The bomb's going to be planted, so 40 seconds left to play, and Breezy will peek. That's Greg Moss for First Blood. But on the retake, you got to worry about the players in top bedroom. Breezy says, yeah, I got you.
Wall bangs through the shades. Unfortunately, the nice window view from the balcony of the bedroom isn't going to do justice to the side of FSU Garnet this time. However, though, it is going to be equal. Who does go ahead and make it a little bit easier for the side of FSU Garnet. Bomb is still down. The defuse has to come through here from Void. He'll be pushing over towards the bedroom, but doesn't realize that player number 7 is all the way across the map in towards money. He won't be able to find the first pick anyways up in towards the top bedroom. FSU Garnet take another round in a row. The first offensive win here on the raid Search and Destroy. And, well, fortunately enough for the side of FSU Garnet, they do go ahead, find the first blood there in the round, go ahead and get that bomb down. And once again, the side of Full Sail Armada was not able to read that A pushed directly. I don't know if maybe they just didn't think FSU would go ahead and find themselves there a second time, or if maybe they just or were opting to more play over towards B because it's a harder site to retake on the defensive side.
I mean, look again, like Breezy's the only defender over there. The retake comes on through just by one guy for Full Sail Armada defensively. Stops that in his track. The retake is beautiful from Full Sail Armada. So FSU Garnet, we got to see if there are any adaptations come through in the next round. But for their defense, again, similar setup as what we just saw from Full Sail Armada, but Full Sail carrying the bomb. Void has it in hand, looking to potentially threaten the kitchen area.
Middle map. Sneaky will fall first, but it will be Void there before the trade. 3 versus 3. Great stuff here thus far, but they've got to be wary of the hold that the side of Full Sail Armada now has in middle map, especially as they push out towards middle map. It's going to be Rosen who finds 2, though, so now a 1 versus 2 here for Frequency. Isn't able to find the shots on the Commander Grog Moth, and that'll allow him to kind of back off and reach out maybe, but FSU Garnet playing this one very closely together. 1 versus 2. Can you go ahead and clutch?
It's going to be tough. Frequencies, their position is already made more than well aware. Starting to look like FSU Garnet are going to go up 4-1 here. Frequency is going to try to hit the jungle. Got 27 seconds left to play, and tell by the canter of my voice, it's not exactly looking too good. Top 74, you get some easy shots at the back to Greg. Here's got the other one in down range, but Rosin can't get the shots down track, and all right. For the cancer of my voice, that was beautiful.
Wow, I'm throwing the rhetoric for a spin there, Proper. That right there, folks, is called the Caster's Curse. And Proper, you just put that into full effect. You just gave Full Sail Armada a round.
I'm here for it, man. Love a competitive match here on Raid Search and Destroy. I love it.
Proper bias? Question mark? Proper bias?
No, you're the one who lives in Florida. If anybody's
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, fair enough.
Hey.
Frequency, middle map. Looking for the players inside of Art. Exile up towards the top, but we'll find that first kill with the Krig once again. Stun out to middle, stun check, we'll find 2. Equal should be in the back here, looking for a couple of players to push up in towards the zigzag area. And the streaks now, potential usage here, middle map, it's going to be called in. The artillery is going to come flying down, raining terror from hell above. And that is going to potentially leave the side of Full Sail Armada in a tricky situation. However, Rosen with the pick there on the frequency will make it a 4 versus 2. Now make it a 4 versus 1. Once again, Boyd in a 1 versus odd situation.
Such a beautiful artillery strike. It funnels all of Full Sail inside a kitchen, and FSU Garnet, they just take the B site. They get the plant, and they're watching all the exits from the kitchen area and find all the kills soon to follow. Void now on a 1v3. Time not on their side, and the last time I tried to frame this up, it came through a clutch for frequency, but this is really tough. And the second that they throw the shots out of top red, they will be gunned from afar. FSU Garnet take a 2-round lead again.
Yeah, it's always difficult to go up against those one-on-one gunfights from any sort of distance, but I mean, 274 U's doing battle against each other like that, that's great. And, you know, even though it's a 1 versus 3 scenario, I do love the ability to have one-on-one gunfights in those situations, but oh my goodness, look at that beautiful view up at the top of the screen right there. We see from the side of Full Sail, or excuse me, Florida State University, I keep doing that, Florida State University, Garnet, we are going to have equal with an artillery strike available for you, so still an opportunity to now have not only the streak in their back pocket, but the ability to go ahead and find the first bloods like they've done thus far. With a 4-2 advantage here instead of the search and destroy, it is looking up for them. However, with frequency getting that first blood, the A site has been cleared out. The bomb will be going down, but now an opportunity for the retake. Here comes the artillery. They've got to run. They've got to get inside, or else they're going to be at their demise here. But as the streak doesn't hit anything, it is going to be a 3v3 for the retake.
But it's still map positioning that you're going to be able to at least find a trading kill, and frequency is left alone inside this GT bar. Yeah, you do end up having a player up inside of the bedroom, but the trade's not going to be good. It's Void through the open stairs. They're going to be able to find it. 2v2. Bomb will detonate in 20 seconds. I mean, if you are for Full Sail, they're playing this so wise. You don't have to check it. Not quite yet.
Especially when you have players laying down on the bomb. I love how Exile's trying to play this right now, but again, to your point, they just played extremely slow. The player off the bomb there not going to be able to go ahead and find the defuse here in this round. Florida State University, unfortunately, are not able to retake that. Even though the streak usage does come through there, they're not able to win the round off of it. And Proper, I love that you pointed out, the play with the artillery strike does, I mean, at least give them a little bit of, I guess, positioning over towards the AS and the bomb site. However, what ends up happening is since you aren't able to find those last two players and they play it so perfectly with one another to not peek out over aggressively and overzealously to where they're not able to go ahead and play the time correctly on the clock, it doesn't actually allow for that streak to have really any effect on the game or the round, and essentially it becomes a wasted streak then, something that we haven't talked about since Black Ops 4, and I'm so glad that the dichotomy of streak game.
I always like making the grand gesture that if you did play Black Ops 4 and you played Control then, that this map, transcending a good couple of titles, kind of plays like frequency in a way. The middle of the map is just what you're truly always after when you are looking for rotations from Search and Destroy and Control, which is why it just really sparked that interest in my mind to have that point. And the same again for Search and Destroy. The middle of the map can really see a lot of rotations, but a lot of early kills could come through when you are trying to heavily focus either of these sites. Whole lot of quietness actually ahead of this offense so far for FSU Garnet, but really would like this to stick so that way they can put themselves on map point.
11-4 here from Equal inside of the Search and Destroy for the side of Florida State, but Void up top will actually find a couple in towards middle. Not sure why he didn't opt to go ahead and find those shots. Potentially had a couple of players maybe lined up to look for him over from the right side of the ring. So pushing towards middle map, it is going to be 2 players from the side of Full Sail Armada getting a couple down over towards P1. 4 versus 2, now making a 1 versus 4. The bomb in the hands. It's going to be a oh my goodness, a full sweep almost of the entirety of Florida State University. Garnet in that round, tying things up 4-4 Proper. This was looking like a great game for the side of Full Sail Armada. However, these last couple of rounds, the side of Full Sail have just looked so good.
Yeah, I mean, Full Sail Armada, I mean, they're doing the Dale strategy, right? I mean, if FSU Garnet are wanting to get aggressive and they're wanting to take these sites very quickly and take the position away from Full Sail, you just have to play passive. Much like how you've always seen Breezy just play passive over by the A zone solely, they're playing for the retake here. And so long as FSU Garnet are trying to aggress forward, those lines of sights are going to be held by ARs and submachine guns alike. So now Full Sail Armada in the driver's seat. The momentum is now on their side. Can they put themselves up on map point to tie up the map series? Count one apiece. But Razin takes down Void. That's first blood towards the middle of the map.
Yeah, well, Void was at 3-7 before he was able to go ahead and find himself at 7-6. So, folks, it is now an opportunity for the side of Full Sail Armada to potentially clutch this round up. But with bomb in hand, it's going to be very difficult for the side of Full Sail to go ahead and eventually win this round, because look at the mini map on the bottom left of your screen. You are going to see how much map presence the side of Florida State University does have. And with Frequency pushing in towards middle map, they've got a player that can look over kitchen and the water steps, and as well as those two players over towards the B, S, and D site. Frequency without the bomb has 40 seconds left to play and either find the 3 kills on the side of Florida State University or go ahead and get that bomb down and hope for the same feat. However, it's going to be very difficult. Pushing up over towards the money room is going to find that first blood. So now in a 1 versus 2, much more manageable. Only 25 seconds left, though.
And you got to recover the bomb here. Keep in mind you. And that's just what's just so rough about this. You're going to walk through a crossfire here. And while there's the position going to be more than well known, Frequency got to find these kills within 12 seconds. Not looking like the first challenge is going to be good. They look left. That player ducked down to the driveway. The player over by the tiles will end up getting the kill. So now at a spot to be able to go up 2-0 here are Florida State. And again, this is what you're going to probably recognize from their team in so much success. That first blood came through over the middle of the map, and you're going to continuously find yourself there first as a defensive team. Typically, you'll see an SMG just kind of cower inside the rocks while an AR looks over their shoulder from kitchen. But this time around, it's just the AR inside the kitchen to find first blood in Full Sail. They got slapped in the face because they had no idea what to do from there on out.
Here we go from Florida State University back to this A push. Breezy's been the player to play over towards A with the AR this entire game. Sorry, the SMG this entire game. And as the bomb is going to go down here, even though the Semtex is going to go out, the trophy system will intercept that. So now a retake is going to come through for the side of Full Sail Armada. No kills have gone in the way of either team yet, but it is going to be Commander Grogmoth with that first initial pick. 3 versus 4. The retake going to be even harder now for the side of Full Sail.
Typically, I mean, for this retake, they normally have Breezy left alive, but got 24 seconds left in his 3v4. He's got a long-range Jordan General special ACOG on that AR, too, so you know that those shots are going to be felt. Exile finds Sneaky. Frequency double on down, but the trade is going to be good from Greg Moth. Now in a 1v2. Void has to find these kills, hop on top of the bomb, but now they're just completely and utterly out of time with FSU Garnet just playing passively. Shark inside the waters, can't find the kills. Void just trying to find a little consolation towards the end of this map, but it will be FSU Garnet that close out the final round with the bomb detonation. And they will go up in the series 2-0, 6-4, the final score here on Raid Heart, Search and Destroy.
Yeah, and, you know, I was looking at the statistics for this out of Florida State in Search and Destroy. KD-wise, equal the top Slayer on the roster, 11-8 in that last Search and Destroy game. 1.88 KD going into this Search and Destroy here for week number 2. So, again, nothing short of what we've been seeing throughout the entirety of the season thus far for the side of Full Sail Armada. That one stings a bit. You were up and had an opportunity to potentially take a round advantage there when you were tied at 4-4. Unfortunately, it doesn't come through, and now we are going to be looking at a third map here inside of our best of 5 series. Full Sail Armada have to take this control in order to go ahead and find themselves with the series lead, but this series could be closing down here with one final map on Garrison.
Yeah, it absolutely can, and this is in a really scary spot, too, because if you're coming off of really analyzing the hard point there on Raid, and then again, the Search and Destroy, which we did get to play again on Raid, is that the SMGs and ARs are just always finding themselves in a much more consistent position for Florida State University. I mean, when you're just finding that, you're able to at least find the gunshots. Not that Full Sail Armada can't find said gunshots. They're just really struggling to find the positioning. That's Garrison within a nutshell. So it's going to be very fun to be able to see if we have the workings for a reverse sweep for Full Sail Armada. But I mean, Florida State, they just look very unmatched as far as how they are dictating the pace throughout the entirety of the rounds. For Control and Garrison, they are currently sitting for a win over, University of South Florida. And within that 3-0 loss that Full Sail Armada did lose versus E4 Knights, they did take them and be able to put themselves on the board. It went to round number 5 on their Garrison Control. So this has the workings to be a very tight third map.
Yeah, well, if statistics can mean anything from the past, well, Proper just gave it to you, and Full Sail Armada now have the opportunity to go ahead and take the Garrison here. Seemingly their best game mode, statistically speaking, from the stats that we have from the past. However, folks, for Garrison, for our control, it's all going to come down to which team can go ahead and dictate the pace of the game, which Proper just alluded to here for the Search and Destroy. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't really necessarily have a key into when it comes to Call of Duty. It's that pace of the game and how you can dictate a map with that pace. So, for example, say that you're a team that plays extremely aggressive and your hard counter is a team that might just like to sit back and play some corners. If you do have that, opportunity to get aggressive on a couple of players that also might be getting aggressive, and you know that you've won the majority of your gunfights for the majority of the time, it's going to be extremely valuable for your team to continue to make that play. But on the flip side, if you are a team that is aggressive and a team is sitting back, then it's time to make your adjustments in order to go ahead and find yourself playing at a bit slower pace. But again, you don't want to always play to another team's strengths if you are an aggressive team and the other team is slow, and vice versa, because that can throw your entire game style off, that can throw your entire pace off, and unfortunately that can lead you at a very, very, very shallow demise. So Garrison control coming up here. Proper game number 3 inside of this best of 5 series. Opportunity for Full Sail Armada to finally put themselves on the board.
Yeah, and again, just to go to your point that you were just talking about, the benefactors that we did see through those multiple round wins for Full Sail on that raid search and destroy is because they realized, listen, we're not the aggressive team here. We're not finding the gunfights as quick as the Florida State University Garnet are. So we got to go ahead and slow up the pace, and we got to be able to shut them down from any sort of angles that we could potentially find. But for Florida State, on the other hand, same thing for that raid hardpoint, like you were talking about, finding their ability to be able to really dictate the pace of the match and the continuous flow of it as well. This is where you can find yourself in an advantageous spot for Garrison Control. Again, a lot of pros are still scratching their head as to how the hell do we win an offensive round here for Garrison Control. But I mean, if FSU Garnet have been able to win these gunfights as convincingly as we have seen through the previous 2 maps, McCormill, this could definitely go in their favor.
Yeah, well, winning those offensive rounds, it all comes from that south side control of this Garrison map. We know how tedious and difficult it is to break through that top green area out to the satellite and in towards that bottom green side of things. So as we do look off the rip here, it is going to be the side of Full Sail Armada actually going ahead and finding themselves the initial wave kills on the defensive side of things. Florida State University are going to start to get a little aggressive off the respawn, but however, I would have liked to see in the side of Full Sail Armada maybe push the issue just a little bit further up the map during those respawns, because now this allows Florida State University to go ahead and find potentially a wave kill here on the side of Full Sail Armada, push them far back into their spawn, and go ahead and capture that B site relatively easy, or even go out to A, since there's absolutely no pressure there except for Sneaky with that long range Craig, who is playing a bit cheeky back in towards bottom cobble and bottom bricks.
I'm gonna have to see if they can make this push count. You're down to 21.5 seconds. Clock will now be stalled out. And it's over by the A zone, but how much longer are you gonna be able to get your footing here for Sneaky? FSU Garnet really on the cusp of just trying to get an offensive round here. First stick of progress almost actually gained here at B. Clock stalled out at 18.4 seconds. Moth has an engagement on the other side of lights, knows that they have to hold this angle. Here comes the challenge, laying prone. Gonna be able to come out on top. Is the trade good? No, it's not.
Up top in green, Equal looks for a stun check, not gonna find anything. So zone B, Full Sail Armada are going to chalk this one up to the wayside. They're just going to look for these initial kills here as they start to rotate on over towards A. However, it's all red in the kill feed thus far. 2 players go down, 7 streak for the side of Florida State University in total. And now as they try to get up in towards the spawn side of Full Sail Armada, it's going to be all red once again. You are going to have to look for player number 5 here, though, in Sneaky over towards that A site for the sheer fact that he is playing by his lonesome, looking for a player to push to the top green. But player number 1 and Commander Grogmoth will win the one-on-one gunfight. Give them control of the entirety of the green side of things, and at this point, if you're on the side of Florida State University, you can just tell Commander Grogmoth to get inside of the point, because Full Sail Armada has been continuously wave killed. If you're reading the chat there on the side of Florida State University, you're seeing that you're getting every single name killed except for 1, and once you got that kill down, you can say, all right, it's time to go. We can fly out. We're safe to get onto the A point. We're safe to go ahead and start capturing it.
They don't have top green control, though. Void will be here and is able to find a couple of kills. That makes the push from ramps all the better for Full Sail Armada, but 2 ticks have already gone through. You're down to just 1 respawn comparatively to where FSU Garnet are sitting on a bank and a half. So these lives got to truly count here if you are Full Sail. So you don't get aggressive here again. This is where they found a lot of success in just finding the angles and letting them come to you. You're gonna play the game clock here. 25 seconds, 1 last offensive push for FSU Garnet to get this last zone. if not the kills, to get an offensive round win.
And here's the tricky part, getting outside of green. The last time there was only one gunfight that they had to win, and the player that was outside of green on the satellite pushed out into green and put himself in an unfortunate opportunity in the 1 versus 1 gunfight. 8 seconds left. 2 players alive here from the side of Florida State University, pushing onto the point. They're not going to be able to do so. Great kills from the side of Full Sail Armada. Their lives had to count, and that's exactly what will happen. Proper. Is that a breakdown from the side of Florida State University on the offensive side, not pushing through bricks and opting to go through green? Or is it the side of Full Sail Armada who make an incredible play extremely passive, get the side of Florida State out of their spawns and push back over towards green just to make that last-ditch defensive play?
I mean, Garrison control is just a tricky beat, right? I mean, again, there's a reason why pros are still scratching their head as to how do we transition zones, because, I mean, this ain't no frequency Black Ops 4 control, man. I mean, you're not cleanly making your way through the middle of the map, and you better hope that you're gonna at least get 3 players over towards the zone or towards the spawns of the defensive team so that you can block them to spawn over by tools and lights. But it's just one of those things that FSU Garnet, they don't find themselves in said opportunities, so they can't stronghold green plus the spawn. So Full Sail Armada are able to just work their way back in, hold strong, play the clock, they get the round win. But now over towards the offense for Full Sail Armada, not looking too strong to start off the get-go here. It's all red in the kill feed for Garnet.
Yeah, the unfortunate part here for the side of Full Sail Armada, too, is that the side of FSU has been the top slaying team inside of the control thus far, and that's been apparent just from the very beginning of the round. I mean, the life advantage was all the difference there for the side of Florida State University. Unfortunately, they weren't able to convert on top of that. However, it does kind of spell out how this defensive round will look, especially for the sheer fact that if you are getting the majority of slaying on the defensive side, you're going to win the round pretty much tenfold unless the side can get, you know, the opposition can get maybe one clear squad wipe and then hop on a point or something like that. So slaying is, of course, what I talked about with Shift yesterday on this alpha stream, and we kind of came to the conclusion of, there are so many ways you can win a control map, and even though slaying is extremely important, again, there are so many other ways that a team can go ahead and come back from a slaying deficit. Instead of a control map like this right now, though, for the side of Florida State University, they are looking good on the slaying department. The side of Full Sail Armada, though, can still win off of the captures or, of course, the time. It's all going to have to come down here to the end, though.
I'm not too sure it's going to be coming on through. Exile finally just went down, and for the past 45 seconds, Exile has just been gutting Full Sail Armada off the spot. If you're looking at the biggest difference between these two teams, again, I talked about it on the Search and Destroy, as the clock will slightly be stalled out here, so you might actually have just a last 2.2 second time clock to be stalled out. Rosin actually wants to hit this from lights above the rat spot in vents. Has 2 players lined up. Isn't going to be good for the first. So now Void in a great spot to be able to capture the zone. The first tick of progress will be your FP. And it looks like that FSU Garnet, they want to try contest. He's got 2 players inside of lights, but when's the go button? When are you going to try to get these kills?
Well, I think it starts now as Void starts to push up through the map. Inside of Lights is going to be able to connect those shots onto the first player. So 2 ticks of progress over towards B. Nobody from the side of Florida State University is going to be there. So at least still add an extra minute onto the clock. And that's a lot of time to work with, especially only being down by 5 lives. And again, slaying power is huge here for the side of Florida State. However, when you do have player 2 pushed all the way up the map, that's not going to be potential trades if the side of Full Sail Armada is able to get into this point off of a couple of good kills that go their way. However, as Exile is playing in towards the back, going to be able to find the first shots there onto 1. So the spawn trap in from the side of Florida State University. Full Sail Armada is trying to break out, but again, proper, the kill feed, all red. Florida State University Garnet looking like they are in full control of this round.
Exile is just a man on a mission. 4 spree for them. All of these kills in the spawn of Full Sail Armada, and they're just dwindling with numbers. Just trying to work the middle of the map, trying to get inside top green, trying to stop the clock through cobble and bricks. It's just not easy, man. Not when you got a Krig in your spawn just gunning you before you can even make it past the first tank. 6 seconds remaining, and the kill's just not looking good for Full Sail to try to stop this clock. And that'll be a round win defensively for FSU Garnet. Defense for defense. But again, the point that I was trying to make in between these two teams defensively, you had brought up the point in round number 1 that Full Sail Armada is the team that they were playing slow. You would have loved to be able to see them go in towards the spawn to be able to find those kills, to be able to create this space and pressure. The same thing that we see happening on your screen with the best play from Exile. That's the biggest difference, because again, Full Sail Armada, they don't want to be the aggressor. They want you to have the unforced error while they're holding the angles to be able to find the kills. Well, the aggressors to Florida State, again, just constantly setting the pace, just always making sure that you're playing 1 member, 2 members down on your back foot. Exile's 18-9, for goodness sake, two different rounds. It's because if you have an AR in your back line, Full Sail Armada, get him the hell out of there.
Looking ahead for this round of Control, tied up 1-1. Full Sail Armada have the opportunity now on the defensive side to go ahead and take another round here, folks. If you are wondering at the end of Control, though, if this does go and tie up 2-2, it is no longer to where it is just going to trade back and forth and switch the sides to wherever in round 4 it was on defense will be on offense. It is based on accumulation of all the kills inside of the map. Right now, Florida State University is up on that kill tally in total. So if this does go to a last round in round number 5, at least for right now, Florida State University will have that advantage. But what's worth talking about right now is a side of Florida State University over towards A, getting 1 tick of progress to go in their favor already. And this is going to take a lot of pressure from the side of Full Sail Armada away from the the B control site to where Florida State University now have all the advantage in the world, all the time in the world to go ahead and stack this point and get a lot of progress. It should at least be 1 tick of progress before the contest comes in, and even if the contest comes in, it is going to be a very difficult fight for the side of Full Sail Armada with the head glitches that the side of Florida State University have in their favor.
Yeah, it was a good split start there from Florida State University. Again, just trying to put players over towards the A quick YY of the reload, and Greg Moth almost ended up finding that. But won't be the case. And Florida State, again, they start off with the split focus, but they don't really find themselves in an advantage. I mean, you got 2 ticks on 2 separate zones, down to 45 seconds, and the respawns, they're not heavily in your favor. You were trying to go big with a 2v3 odd situation, but you were trying to at least get a multitude of takes on both zones, making this all the better. But Full Sail Armada, they find themselves here in a good amount of kills, and they're wanting to press the advantage, but a Qual with the chop punch is going to be good to be able to find 2. And it just means that Void's going to come in and immediately get the trade. But again, this is map terrain away from FSU Garnet to where they can't stop the clock. We're down to 18 seconds.
No, to your point, Full Sail Armada did play that extremely well. Again, you know, you do expect to get at least maybe 2 ticks on each of the respective sites if you are on the offensive side there, making that split push play. However, this time it's not going to end up exactly in their favor, as Full Sail Armada was able to counter that push. Now, 1 player in sneaky over towards A, once again holding that down. However, the contestant is here over towards B. Pushing up towards it is going to be Rosen and his teammate Commander Grogmoth. Pushing over towards his B side, it is going to be the Semtex from Void who takes out 1, but the trade does come through. Contestant over towards B, not going to be able to be there. The player from behind is shut down. Player number 5 and sneaky up on top of the bridge will find 1, but more importantly, the B side will be contested. It will be held down, and it will be secured by the side of Florida State University. An extra minute on the clock now for them to push over towards A, and this is what was their Achilles heel the last round. They were not able to push out either through the satellite or the top green, but Void snapping, beaming in every direction. He's got 3 in a row to himself. 21 objective plays, 25 and 15, picking up the slack where his teammates might not be able to come through.
And this was what Full Sail were missing. Get aggressive. I want to see your game phase, and Void is absolutely showcasing that on a 3 spree right now. 25 and 15, like you were talking about, will now be put to rest. But that opens things up wonderfully for the defense. 30 seconds now remaining for the play. Frequency now looking to get aggressive, and life is good for 3. 16 and 25, but hell, that gunfight looked pretty darn good. FSU Garnet, though, looking to try to make a last-ditch effort play through the middle of the map. This is going to get scouted out by Frequency, and you're just hoping that you can at least try to touch the zone here through top green.
Yeah, well, Florida State had a life advantage of about 6 there going into that last couple of seconds. Now it's the side of Full Sail Armada who are looking to be good here, but now a 3-man push from the side of Florida State University. They've got players on the point. They have 2 stacking, and player number 3 is up close and personal looking for the spawn. Player number 1 in middle map is looking for the push around through the flank in green. Now, the ticks are still going. They've got to fly through. Full Sail Armada is not able to find those initial kills. Florida State University take a round that looked like it was the side of Full Sail Armada's 20 seconds ago. Completely flipped the script, force spawn them all the way in their back, take the round win, take the advantage here inside of game number 3, and now we're on match point of completing the 3-0 sweep over the side of the Full Sail Armada.
Man, and now those 7-8 kills that Frequency and Void found are all for naught.
Yep.
That sucks, man, because you're sitting there as a team, and you're just like, oh, man, what else we gotta do, for goodness sakes, and, God, lordy, I mean, say what you will, Breezy playing the OBJ, they're only got 6 OBJ points, I mean, crying out loud, 35 in between both Moth and Equal. I mean, you want to talk about players that are just finding openings so far. It's only really been Void, like you were alluding to there, McCormick. 26 and 17, 23 OBJ points as well, and now you're just going to have to hope that you can find offensive success here if you are Full Sail Armada just to push into a round number 5.
Champagne without the sham. Full Sail Armada. Unfortunately, we're not able to complete that defensive round, and Well, we talked about how good the defensive side of every single map is in control, minus maybe Raid, but even then on Raid, it's still a relatively your advantage, and that's how it should be on the majority of the maps, maybe not as staunch an advantage as we do see a lot of the times here inside of Black Ops Cold War. However, that can be changed a little bit with maybe some different spawn placements and whatnot throughout the course of the year, and we still have yet to see a lot of those adjustments, but Frequency is going to push in with the help of Sneaky. They're going to have 2 players there, and another one is going to be flying through the front door. Shots are there on the equal, should be traded out immediately here. No, they're actually going to opt just to play a little bit further back, play their head glitches, play together, which is the most important thing that Full Sail Armada has not really been doing all that much of. And you know, Proper, when we saw them almost win that last round, it wasn't the fact that they were playing together, it wasn't the fact that they were making those great pushes together, it was 2 and 3 pieces by Void and Frequency who really made the difference in that round and were almost able to get them the win. Unfortunately, speaking of the scoreboard, Breezy, unfortunately, isn't having the greatest game of all time right now. 6 and 25. Maybe you can step it up here in the last 2 rounds. That's really what you need from the side of Full Sail Armada, with everybody else kind of having either an above average game or right around the average game.
Just look at the mini-map, man. I mean, you win one gunfight for FSU Garnet, and they're just like, all right, let's go take the map away, guys, and they're just doing exactly that for the past 25 seconds or so. It's been all just spawn kills. Moth is on a 6 spree. His past tools is inside the spawn, is trying to find more. Has 18 OBJ points. There's number 7. How about number 8? Yeah, you might as well just put the controller down here, Full Sail Armada, because FSU Garnet just slammed you face into the dirt on Garrison control. Wow, was this round just convincing. Clock is going to be solid at 0.1 seconds, but all right, just a respawn count, McCoy Mills. It's got to be rough.
Yeah, well, stranger things have happened. Now, from the top, though, it is going to be Grog Moth with that cruise missile, and that will seal the deal. Florida State University Garnet will complete the 3-0 sweep after the Full Sail Armada roster. That'll improve them to 3-0 here in Season 3 of the CCL. Full Sail Armada will drop to 1-2. Fortunately enough, it is still early in the season for both of these two teams, though. Florida State looking great out of the gates. Again, that 8th ranking in the power rankings is for good reason. Full Sail Armada, unfortunately, it's back to the drawing board here for the next series that they are going to have to play. But again, like I said, it is early in the season. There's a lot of time to improve. There's a lot of things to fix on your roster. If there are some issues that you need to have, if there's some glaring issues that you see from your VOD review, there's a lot of time to fix that. But right now, just for the sake of saying it, Florida State University Garnet looks extremely good. They're going to be deadly when it comes to postseason time, I'd like to say, at least right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you're just looking at just this region, this division alone, I mean, yeah, you got FSU Garnet. Full Sail is in here, as you just saw. Kaiser, GSU Gold. Who's out there? Who's going to just come up to FSU's doorstep and just try to take them down? Because, I mean, as far as the division is concerned in this first split here, McCornmeal, it's looking pretty damn convincing. I'm not going to lie. Florida State coming off that kickoff showcase had some pretty tough opponents there at the end for their 4th place finish. But still, I mean, this is a very scary roster. You're working in tandem of one another. The blind trust of how they're just flying in through the spawn. The slaying department, the pressure, everything is just so scary. And it's just, again, this Full Sail Armada roster is not something that you bat an eyelash at here. I know that they're not playing with their full strength of the roster, and it's not even the same for the core 4 that we do remember from last season for Modern Warfare. But I mean, still, that was a beating, man. That was scary on that control. That was, oh man, I'm gonna have nightmares.
I don't know if I'll have particularly nightmares about it, but I definitely will be thinking about that as I drift off into sleep in the well-made bed, folks. To your delight. It's made. it's made. I got bullied into it by the chat, but you know what? Chat, I love you. I love you so much. Folks, if you were not here for the first game of the Alpha Stream, WVUPSC Esports were taken down in 3-0 fashion by the side of OSU Scarlet. And of course, that was map and game number 1 here on the Alpha Stream. Of course, we just saw the side of Full Sail Armada be taken down to 3-0 by the side of Florida State University Garnet. And for our final game here on the Alpha Stream tonight for week 2, it is going to be the side of RU Black versus NJIT Red. Folks, you won't want to miss it. Cam Burton Morgan will take you through all the action in that best of 5 series. For now, though, myself, McCornmeal, and the Proper Cast are going to be hopping off. Hopefully, you guys have a fantastic night. There's still matches going on the Bravo stream as well, so twitch.tv/CollegeCOD Bravo will take you over there as we get in preparation for the next match coming up here on the Alpha Stream. Folks, have a great night. Stay tuned. Stick around. We've got more matches coming up all night here for the end of week number 2.